Hey guys, so now that I'm in Project and Portfolio 5, my professor is asking what tips can we, provide to future students in reference to interactive media design and usability and interactive editorial design. Both were very interesting classes. I have to say, personally, I enjoy interactive editorial design more than I enjoy the interactive media design and usability. For the simple fact that I had, well, first of all, IMU was the first out of these courses that I had, and for me, I had a hard time sort of connecting with the material because it was this class that the wireframes were introduced, and it wasn't like a shell shock, but it was just like, I'm a graphic designer and now you're telling me that I need to design for the web. And now I know, looking back at it, that
if you design, you're a designer, you can design for the web. But
at that point, it was just it was a transition for me. I would say that it was a transition for me. Just learning how to deal with wireframes, and we had different sort of requirements where you could change the view to sort of view it as though you were really on the web, and it was difficult to get assistance with the issues that that I was having. So in the end, I do feel like I'm a better designer for it, and now obviously we've got that experience under our belts. So advice that I could offer, I think asking questions is very big, because you don't know, and depending on the instructor you have, the information, you might not be receiving the information very well. I know for me in IMU, I was not receiving the information very well at all. We had like a wayfinding project, like an interactive map, if you will, to help people make their way. For us, it was a zoo. It might be different for you. Maybe it's the same thing. And just creating like good user interface so that people don't have like a hard time getting where they need to go, and you're not making people think too much about what needs to be done. So I would just say ask questions. Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. And some folks might seem a little annoyed that you're asking so many questions. But if you're like me, you're here for the experience. You're here for the knowledge. You want to learn it. You're paying for it. And at the end of the day,
this is what's owed to you by people who are a part of the staff. So
ask questions is very big. Another tip I could say, and I feel like I've done one of these videos before, and a very huge tip was time management. Hear that all the time, but it really is legit. It is the truth, because one thing that I've kind of figured out with these cornerstones, and my classmates can tell you, and I'm sure you know already, sometimes you'll be in like the 3-month cornerstone, and you just started the class and it's the first week of the class, but you are expected to present your cornerstone pitch like Tuesday of week 2, so it has to be turned in like Friday of week 1. You know what I mean? In addition to however many other assignments that you have. And for some of the instructors, this is completely reasonable, because in the real world, you'll probably be juggling like 3 jobs at once with how many deadlines, and there's a group of them, there's a team, so obviously they sit around and they kind of decide what's reasonable, what's not reasonable. Is this too much for them to handle? Can we ask them to do this, reasonably? And I think most times you'll find that, yeah, they can. And
It is a lot, but at the end of the day, it's not too much. You just sort of have to manage your time.
So you can't show up on Wednesday for the first time for the week and be like, oh my God, like you've probably by then you've missed the discussion post. Because normally in IMU, that's due on a Tuesday, you know. So usually these types of deadlines, they're repetitive throughout the week, which is helpful. You have a go-to session, that's probably going to be the same day every week. So that's helpful. But I know for myself, I am a full-time worker, full-time public servant. I have 3 children, I have 2 dogs, 1 husband. So for me, it just can be a lot. So time management is like really important. And it's not to say you gotta like set your calendar and your schedule. I'm gonna do this on that day, and every Wednesday by this time I'm gonna make sure I make time to meditate, and after I meditate for an hour I'm gonna go off and join the go-to session. It's not to say to do it like that, but Monday you should at least be like looking at the assignments, seeing what are the deadlines, what's due when, start like mentally planning, knocking off things you can knock off, tech tips, videos, the video lectures.
I do those first just to get it done, make sure I'm like, if I need to take notes, if there are questions.
And I go through it, and then I go through the assignments because I want to make sure that I have a good understanding of what's being expected. Because if you don't, then you can wind up and your cornerstone is not fully done, or there was a 2-part to the discussion board, and the first initial part of the discussion was due on a Tuesday, and the last part is due Friday. But if you're looking on the outside, just the list of the assignments, it'll say, well, the due date is due, it's Friday. So if you don't actually go in, then you've missed that whole first part that was due Tuesday, and that's, you know, that's points. And it's not to say you couldn't do it after, but then there's like a 10-point deduction that you just automatically got taken off, and it was super unnecessary. So
those would be my tips. Time management, and ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. If you don't understand, ask questions. You don't know what you don't know.
That's your right. That is your right. If you don't get it, you don't get it. So you ask questions. But other than that, thus far, that's really the only thing that I could suggest, and hopefully you found this video helpful. So other than that, take care. Good luck.